It's time! Yeah, baby, we're getting it back on the Sex and the City train, season by season, episode by episode, and we are now coming up on episode 8. But before that, I have diversified my video portfolio. I've introduced new topics and videos, and I want to personally thank every single person that has been with me on this journey since the beginning of my channel, that has also been watching my new types of videos and commenting, sharing, liking, hyping, even secretly watching without saying anything. I'm okay with that too, because at least you've stuck around and you have waited and you've enjoyed my content. And for all the new viewers who have come in because of my new content, I want to thank you too. This is my series that we have been going through with my Ride and Dies. I have done all of the review and recap of And Just Like Crap. It's in this playlist that's at the end of the video. And also, we have decided as a community that I will be reviewing episode by episode, season by season, Sex in the City, the OG, the one that started it all. And we are now in season 3, episode 8, the big time, baby. That's right, because this one is actually named The Big Time, written by Jenny Bix. So, thank you, everyone. I hope that ones that have been waiting to get up and caught up with these series episodes, that it's here, baby. I'm back. And I'm so happy to be back. I needed a break because, I wanted to bring in new content and new viewers, and I hope that everyone enjoys it. So, without further ado, let's get into how I break this down. So, the most familiar and more comfortable format for me is that I go each episode and I break it down per character arc in that episode. So, for this one, we're going to start off with Charlotte. Ah, baby girl Charlotte. She's in love, in love, in love. My God, she has met Trey in the prior episode, episode 7. And now, as for all of us who have known about this is where she gets served by Trey in the next coming episodes. Okay? So, as the scene opens, it's New York, New York, where you can get any, for some godforsaken reason, poor Sarah, or I should say, Carrie, can't get her, what is it, laundry, her dry cleaning, because I don't know what time she shows up. I don't have those problems. I don't actually purchase any clothing that needs dry cleaning. Neither then, pretty much now either. I could, but I don't. Sorry. So, as we discover our wonderful child of Charlotte, she's been, and as she is playing, let's say, tit for tat, apparently they've been making out on, I think, her couch, and it's been 2 weeks, and he is not getting any further than kissing. And so he can't get anything, even though in Manhattan you can get anything, but not Trey. So as we pan into the manicure nail salon with both Carrie and Charlotte, Charlotte is expressing to Carrie that Trey is so wonderful because he knew that she wasn't feeling well, and he took her to a soup place, and then they went to second base. And as Carrie is looking at her, she's like, "What?" She goes, "Yes, I don't want to sleep with him too fast because I think that he's the one." And Carrie's like, "Sweetie, you can know his email, but you can't know after 2 weeks that he's the one." There were moments of clarity with Carrie. I have to give it to her when she had it, she did. She tried to warn her and try to make some sense. Now, did she listen to her own suggestions and think clearly in her own right mind? Well, no, you know. So, for some reason, Charlotte thinks that, by only going to first, second base, she considers it kissing with extras. I do forget sometimes how childlike they wrote this character. Kissing with extras. She doesn't want to sleep with him too fast, which is funny how they set this all up because they made it seem as if, I was a little convinced that this could be the one, until. Mhm. So this whole problem with her not sleeping with him, her Charlotte rules of dating, whether it be, outdated or whatever the case may be, they made it seem like it was working, which is why I think, and I'm going to say this throughout this episode because I've already done a video. I have a funny feeling now that I've delved into dating, not just dating over 50 or in your 50s, just dating in general for all ages. I think this show gave a lot of people a lot of delusions. I don't think people really understood how powerful this show was when it was aired originally to a lot of women who are now coming up into the age of where they can't or complain online on TikTok, YouTube, everywhere that they're in their 50s and 60s and they can't find someone. And, I think that this show really played a big role on that because it was, we didn't think about it then, but now that I look back at this, this show may have contributed to the downfall of dating. Let's move on. Next scene we have Charlotte's still in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. There's a song. Somebody tell me what's the song. I'm trying to get the beat, but I can't remember. I got to think about it because there is a I'm in love, but I'm off beat. I'm pissed because I really want to be singing on beat, but I'm gonna just have to deal with my singing. Stop it. So she's. It's been 2 weeks. You haven't had sex. She's been playing tit for tat, first base and second base like it's a baseball game. What? Unrealistic, but we pretended to believe for a long time. Okay. So the next scene we have, she's in the bathroom with the three ladies, which is what I is the one. And Charlotte's like, oh my God, no. And Samantha puts her in her place. No, he does no, because he's had blue balls, okay? That I believe. She goes, no, no, I really do think he's the one. She goes, Michelle is like, not sorry. Miranda's like, no, it's just timing. Now, here's where I actually kind of sort of believe Miranda because I don't think it's like this for all men, but I think a lot of men is that when they're ready, they turn their light on, and the next girl they see, bam, that's the one they marry. That's how she puts it to Charlotte. It's about timing. I'm not gonna lie. I think that there are men like that there just comes to a point in their lives that they've had enough fun and, they say, okay, it's time for me to settle down, maybe have a family, have some kids, do whatever the hell it is. And, I don't think it's boom, the next one they see is the one that they're going to marry. But I do believe that there is some sort of candle in the wind scenario, like when that candle goes out, they're like, yeah, you know what? I want to be with somebody, you know. I'm not saying it's like that for all men, because one thing that Miranda brought up also is that most men have this timing thing, but unlike women who are born with their light on, which is men are from Mars, women are for Venus. I don't think all women are innately born with that need to get married either. I've known few people in my community who's mentioned that they're very happy to be single. There's 85 billion people in this world. I'm sure there's truth to every single one of these damn stories. There is. I'm almost proof positive that it is. Okay. So, that brought her to thinking, not by much. Um, Charlotte contributes very little. This is a short stop into the bigger arc for her. So the next scene we have is that she is in her. I was completely blown away when we were watching this. We were like, "Excuse me, what?" Because there's no pictures. And as poor Charlotte, she asked the question that all of us were asking: do I have one of those? And Samantha's like, if you have to ask, you haven't been doing your Kegel exercises. She goes, well, what are your Kegel exercises? And she goes, you just hold and release for 10 minutes a day. And then she proceeds to go ahead and do it. And, I'll reenact it for you after the clip. And it goes like this. Ow. Oh. I think I broke my kegel. Is it possible to break a kegel? I don't think I have one kegel. I'm too old. They didn't get into that one. How old does your kegel need to be in order to keep up with it? Is this like a daily routine? Do I need to follow up with like, a kegel, personal trainer? Yeah, baby. Ow. So, as the girls find her impressive because she can kegel her muscles at any point of the day for 10 minutes a day, I can't even do it for a minute on camera. I need a personal trainer. So, the next scene we have is now Samantha believes that she is 5 days late. Well, she is. And imagine the days that I thought that I was late and I was pregnant until the one day I was late. And then 30 years late before that, I had a baby. My baby. So she is in the bathroom at a club, I presume. And, all the girls are cramps and, all that other stuff that comes with their periods. Girl, let me tell you something. I don't miss my period at all. Every time I walk down the aisle with the tampons and tampons, I laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh because I hated it, like most women do. My God, it's torturous. Okay. And to think I'm living in a house with three girls, my son's girlfriend who still gets it. And I have to mark on the calendar when it's her PMS days, and two girls who are going to be coming up to it. And that's going to be the beginning of hell. Because I know the first time I got mine, I was scared. And then, sick of it. Raise your hand if you felt the same way. So, I haven't truly escaped hellscape. I've just dug in deeper into it. What has happened to my life? So, as the girls, she looks at the girl, she goes, I have something to tell you. Come on in. And they get closer. And she expresses to them, girls, I am a bit older than you. Surprise? I don't know what delusional world Samantha was in sometimes. We've accepted her because we love her, but really? So, in order to make herself feel better, and which means she felt worse, she accepted the date from Len the mullet. Did you? It's amazing, baby. And Samantha started drinking. And in order to make him stop talking, because this is what most women would do, she slept with him. Now, I would have gone a different route. I would have walked out of the restaurant and hid in my house for 3 days until I know that it was safe to come out again. But I'm not Samantha. So as they're getting it on, apparently, as he states, Flo came to town. And Samantha was so happy that Flo has made another visit. She leaps out of bed, and as Carrie narrates, she knew at that moment that she had a lot more hot young studs left in her, that she wasn't drying up. Now, delusional? Yes, because that really doesn't happen to most women. Have you heard what's out there? Do we accept it because it's Samantha? Yes. Why? Because Samantha has never wanted to be in a relationship. She never wanted to have kids. She wanted to go out there and have fun. So her doing what she does kind of makes sense. Young studs, older men ish, sometimes. She was never looking for her happy ending, for lack of a better word. So there are women out there who, at any age, will continue to grab whatever comes their way and be completely content. What's contentious is when we believe that we want to live the lifestyle of the Sex and the City women up until that age of 30 and 40 and expect that we are going to find the right man at that time. And we're on the internet, the TikToks, the Instagrams, and everywhere else screaming and bitching and moaning about how hard it is at their age to be finding someone to settle down with after so many long years of not being settled down, or maybe divorced, or being in a bad relationship. I'll put those two in another bucket. I'm just saying, at some point, you got to pay the price. If you were intending to be in a relationship, then you should have done, I wouldn't say go crazy like Charlotte, but there should have been a plan. Okay? If your plan is never to settle down, follow Samantha. This might be controversial, but I think that the internet, TikTok, and Instagram can tell you different and be on my side. I'm just saying. Okay? And that's it. That is what Samantha contributed to this episode. She's not day old dry bread. She knows how to do Kegel exercises. Ow, ow, better than I can. And she has a lot more studs waiting for her at the end. And the reasoning why these women are so happy to get their monthly flow, well, I've never actually seen anyone so happy to get their monthly flow. I was so happy to see my go. I actually wanted to put it on a plane and send it to, Kilimanjaro. Next up, now we have Miranda and Steve. Miranda and Steve sitting on a washing machine last episode, kissing and hugging, and now they're talking about babies and breaking up in one episode. It turned my head so fast I got whiplash. Let's get into it. And hey, if you're enjoying this and I'm bringing value and you have not yet to subscribe to my amazing community, I hope that you consider, because we're not done with Sex in the City and I am not done bringing content from around the different variations of my YouTube algorithm. So I hope that you consider to do one important thing. Subscribe. Miranda and Steve sitting in a tree, KISSING. First comes love, then comes a dog, and then comes a breakup. This one gave me whiplash. And I tell you why. Because it was not until last episode that they were getting it on the washing machine. Okay? Now all of a sudden, they have problems. Well, apparently for a long time. Let's get into it. Okay, we have Miranda and Steve at a restaurant, and she's complaining about crying babies to Steve, saying, when was it appropriate to have children at a restaurant? Okay. Or in a car, on the street, in a park, on a plane, on a train, around. I don't know, because apparently, it's inappropriate to have children in any place that is Miranda's location. I might be a little, perturbed because I'm a man, I'm a parent. So as she's complaining to him, he says, hey, babies are cute. And he goes on to say, hey, let's have a baby. As Miranda is shocked, as you can see on my face, I'm like, where are we going with this, Steve? She says, we can't have a baby, because she actually had I want to say, have a baby with him right now, and that she's pushing him away, and that she does want to have a kid one day, but she's not ready for it. I'm like, that's really self-awareness. That's really good. I can see that happening. But I also see her point of view when it comes to Steve acting like a baby. Now, with all due respect, it wasn't the fact that he was watching Scooby-Doo. It was the way that he was watching it and how stupid he was acting. Because I'm going to tell you, there have been times that I do sit in front of the television with some popcorn and I can sit through, the Justice League, the animated series, Unlimited, both, and I can watch all kind of comic book renditions of movies. My son already knows this about me. I'm Batman. You know, um, he Wonder Woman. He knows that I'm a DC girl. He was into Batman when he was a child, though none of the movies were good, except for Michael Keaton. A few. And I have been known to do that. Even now when I'm where I'm living, the girls look at me like, why do you like these shows? I'm like, I grew up on it. And I don't mind the animated series, but I'm not sitting there acting like a child the way that he was. That's the way they portrayed it. And I would love to go to comic book conventions. I've said this before. I'm not sure if I would dress up at anybody, but I can definitely see myself getting into cosplay. And there's nothing wrong with people, not just men, really enjoying their time doing that. It was just the way that they made it look like he was a 3-year-old kid eating his cereal, Scooby Doo, like being a ding dong. No, doofus. Ding dongs are the girls. That irritated me the most, because they were just not on the same level. And, she likes her stupid little, gossip tittle tattle magazines, where it's all about tittle tattle. She has her little quirks too that we just kind of overlook. But the reality is that when I say they're not on the same wavelength, it's not even so much age, because I don't think there's an age difference too much between the two of them. There's a mentality, worth ethic. Like, he didn't respect the fact that she's working her ass off to be, partner at a law firm, because he doesn't understand the greater scope of things and support her. Okay. And she doesn't want to really be in this relationship because of fear of everything that he doesn't bring to the table, right? Because he's not coordinated. He doesn't have money. She's the one working. She's the one doing everything, and I can see both sides, and I completely sympathize with Miranda on this, so as she's trying to talk to Carrie, she's understanding that this could be the issue. Well, the next scene we have is now that she's at her office and she's working. Steve calls her and says, can you meet me downtown? Or, yeah, okay, whatever, just meet me. And, he doesn't even respect the fact that she has a meeting. And I have to give her credit where Miranda deserves credit. She gets up, so she goes. I don't know how long the time frame was between where she had to meet him to when she had her meeting, but this was important to her. And if you've ever been with a lawyer, know about a lawyer, been in a law firm, these people are very, very hard workers, and they're not, for the majority of them, especially when you want to make partner. So she goes down, and they're at a puppy store, dog store, puppy store, which is where we meet the dog Scout. And he figures that instead of having a baby, they can get a dog together, and it'll be a test run. And Miranda's like, and who will be taking care of this test run? Stuff here, and I want to break up with you. And so there's 15 of them. She finally made partner at her law firm, and that was it. And I'm just sitting here like, wow. I mean, they do get more into it, as we know, as the further we go. It's just that I found a huge discord between happily doing his underwear and having sex to where we are today, where she's gone. Not that it doesn't mean that I didn't understand why. I did, because he was a pain in the ass. I'm sorry. I know we all had justice for Steve, but I realized this was not the point where I fell in love with Steve. I had fallen in love with him, like I said, after the baby. I can't remember what episode, and once we get up to it, I'll let you know. But there is a turning point for Steve when it comes to his maturity level. It's probably around the time when he decided to get the bar. That really struck me. And I was like, all right, now this is something we can work with. That's it. Next up, the creme de la creme. The disaster that is the big time. The Carrie Chronicles. So you know what you need to do. They don't. The creme de la creme. Carrie Chronicles. And the big time. And the leading down the rabbit hole of hell for all episodes thereafter. Let's get into it. Okay, listen. Check it out. Carrie is with Charlotte, who has been explaining to Carrie while they're getting their nails done about her and Trey going to second base. As Charlotte is also raving and ranting about her, kissing with benefits rendition of love. She also read somewhere that somehow after a year, without having boudoir sessions, you can become V-carded. Okay? Fill in the blanks. serving him Chinese food, from what I can understand, just from the packaging and the noodles. And she states that she can't get out of bed. They cannot get out of bed. She cannot get enough. They're doing everything in her bed. So I have a question. How do we feel about eating in bed? Now, remember this. Mr. Big didn't like the fact that Carrie was eating oranges in his bed because it made his sheets sticky, and that was just fruit. How do we feel about full on meals, and especially in the way that she was serving him in your bed? Now, remember this, New York apartments are very small, okay? Not hers. She could have easily been eating on her faux dining room table. I'm going to tell you how I felt about this scene. One, it was weird because he's like num 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 as she's feeding him Chinese food. There's, lack of a better word, garbage everywhere, cups, plates, all this stuff. Everything is in her bed, and there's not even like a tray for him or them to sit and eat like, human beings food. It was just, I wouldn't do that, and that's just me. I just have a pet peeve about that. Like, you have the ability to circumvent this in many different ways. And I didn't like Aidan at this point, and it was at that point, even though I know that he satisfied a part of her where she likes to eat in bed, she was not, he's not for her. I can't explain it. I knew it back then. I was like, yeah, no, this is not the one. Okay. There is an unsophistication to Carrie. There's a huge unsophistication to Carrie that Mr. Big, why she feels so paranoid around him because he's more sophisticated than she is, a classy. Yeah, probably. But, and, Aiden is more laid back, more country style, more, we'll eat everything in bed and we'll never clean up, I presume. I don't know. It was just, I didn't like it. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It's just, can we do it in a more, I don't know, classier way? There's just something off with this. So she's trying to get to this yacht for a magazine opening, like a promo. And she constantly is, I'm all effed up. And she's like, go back to your wife. Okay. I don't think this is over. For no means or no bounds. And as she closes the door, she plays the message and he goes, hi, it's me. I'm on the corner. I know you're home. Um, I missed you. I can't stop thinking about you. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So many things are going through my head. This happened to me. And with the person who have followed me through my journey through these episodes, the guy that I was going to marry, we broke up. He came back. He pretty much said the same thing. I was like an idiot. I went back with him, and then my body rejected it and started giving me dizzy spells. And I thought I had a tumor. And my doctor was like, no, you don't have a tumor. You having panic attacks. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm a single mom living in the Bronx. If I didn't have a panic attack, what that happened? Nothing could give me a panic. No, there's something wrong. What's wrong with you? And that's when I cried my ass off and I realized I was having panic attacks, not a tumor. So I I I was not in a relationship with someone at the time that he decided to come back, but it was around the same amount of time, about a year, and I fell for it. And thankfully, my body was like, snap out of it, Nana. What are you, crazy? So we didn't get married, just so you know. So when I heard and saw this, it still broke my heart now because even though we know the trajectory of where it goes, which is mostly hyperbole and ridiculousness, I was like, yeah, I get that. I get that angst. And the thing that she says really hurt because it's like, she's like, she doesn't know if message or the fact that she cared. And it happens. She goes, and of course he says the one thing that she needed to hear 1 year later, which I get that. I think for a majority of us who are watching this and been through this, I think that we always have that one particular incident where, it happens. That one person, maybe two if you're lucky or unlucky, however you want to put it. So now, as she's narrating the fact that it's all about timing and that, now Aidan, the one that she thinks that she wants to be with, is 10 minutes, running 10 minutes behind. Obviously, the Chinese people didn't have coffee filters. She is going through her mind what the difference of what Big is saying to how she feels towards Aidan. And here we go with the most emotional roller coaster we go with for all the women, because even Samantha gets stuck in there too. This is where I start to see where the series starts to really get more emotionally impactful. And now we're going to really pay attention to who these writers are, because this one was Jenny Bix, and how it played with the dichotomy of the era and the infinite love that many of us still have for the series, though I can see why it could be most unrealistic now. But we're going to save that for, you know what? Epilogue! 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 And do me a favor, if you're enjoying this and you find this valuable and you want to join my wonderful community and you think I'm funny, scary, funny, it's funny, and you think I can sing and not sing and whatever the hell it is, can you do me a favor? Can you subscribe? And they do. Epilogue. If you think I can hold a tune, you're wrong. Okay? But I appreciate you thinking you can. Listen. I have, I think I needed my break from reviewing this series to delve into the situations that I'm looking at right now, where the women in their 50s and 60s and 70s and just dating culture. Because when this series was in its heyday, we didn't have dating apps, and it gave us a false narrative, not us, because us New Yorkers knew that none of this was really real. It gave a lot of false narratives to women who believed that, you can bump into a guy and start dating them, or if you can take the route that Charlotte did and take it like a job and meet them, and or you could be Samantha for the rest of your life, or be Samantha to a certain point of your life and then expect to find the one, or Carrie, who, I don't know, fell ass backwards into luck, because that's the only thing I can think of. This woman doesn't cook, clean, shop, nothing. And when I say shop, for the home. Okay? So, you know, now that I'm listening to so many scary dating stories, I feel that a lot of people, whether they realize it or not, believe that living a lifestyle like this is plausible, possible, and eventually you're going to be able to fall ass backwards into luck. Um, Not everyone, because not everyone saw Sex in the City, but there is some sort of through line I see with the unrealistic expectations of women, their the sadness, and what I feel is sadness when men just don't give a furry rat's behind and they'd rather be alone than be with a woman. The way some women behave and how they express themselves online, and some of them, I'm not gonna lie, even if I wasn't a man, I wouldn't date you. Okay. And then there are the ones who are heartbreaking, that legitimately have fell out of a relationship, a long-term marriage, whatever the case may be. They have to jump back into the dating pool because they want to, experience lifetime friendship and longevity with someone. And they're finding it almost impossible to even get past the swipe left, the Tinder, the whatever the hell it is that they're using. Or if they get a date, the date leaves them at the door, or they're scary, people, you know, I sympathize more with people who legitimately tried to have a long-term relationship and it didn't work out, and now they're thrusted into the shark-infested waters that is the dating scene now, versus what it was like back then, where people did go to bars, they did go to clubs, they did go outside, and they did meet people. Not necessarily the way that it was portrayed in the show, but there was some culture there that you met someone physically. And you got to know, getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to, like that. Not getting to swipe, getting to fake all my life. apps that we got going on right now. Okay. They irritate the crap out of me. And I give you kudos, like I said. But there is a price to pay for, I don't want to say that people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s have wasted their lives. It's just a different acceptance level that you need to have on your expectations. What are you looking for? And in this show, it never really, and in just like crap, could have delved into that aspect of being thrust, because what they did to Carrie being thrusted into the dating scene and little that they did, it was still unrealistic. And then Aidan coming back, and then Aidan living, and then Mr. Hobbit. It's like, you know what? None of this is real. And they should have had more realism in the show, because I know that this is a show. I know this is written. I know these are characters, but you have to understand something. Based on so many things that I've read, a lot of the stories that were portrayed in this show, whether it's true or not, if they meant it or not, were based on certain aspects of the writer's experiences. And I can understand that. So where in the experience of Just Like Crap did any of that really happen? Because to me, they didn't have that through line, which is why I was looking forward to this show. And they could have done they could have done a lot, they could have done better if they would have looked at what was happening even back then, the 4 or 5 years ago, because this dating scenario that's happening has been a crap show since before and Just Like Crap. They could have really done well exploring the different ways that women are falling ass backwards into oblivion and horror stories. I would have enjoyed that, because I think it would have connected with a lot of the stories that I'm hearing now. Because I'm going to tell you something, a lot of the stories that I'm hearing now, and when I say now, just recently, because I didn't even realize there was a world out there, because I don't pay attention. Since I've given up on dating for a long time for my own reasons, nightmares. Um, I would have loved to have known about this through the show, because through this show, Sex in the City, I learned about different things that I would have never known, and that was what's missing when Just Like Crap. They tried to, I don't want to even say reinvent the wheel, create a new wheel narrative that didn't even make sense for the time that it was happening. Can anybody agree with me on that? Wouldn't it have been nice to have seen some of these stories that we hear, real stories from people about aging, dating, the scariness? Some of them can still find love, but get us through the progression of how do we get from that point? Because for Carrie's story, a lot of women have lost their significant others to death, and they need to go back into the dating pool or have people who don't want to. And how does that look like in life? They didn't give us anything but crap down the toilet, no real through line, no thought, no love, no understanding of the woman's aging and the men and how that portrays. Like, Golden Girls had such an amazing storyline. They really made it more realistic for that age group, which is why it's so beloved to this day. Versus in Just Like Crap, that just tried to be the Sex and the City 30 years ago, except the women are older. You hear my passion, right? Because now that I've realized how much we lost in the reboot and how much I'm seeing with these dating scenarios, I would have loved to have seen something like that that would have pulled me in emotionally the way that this show used to, for that time period, for that age group. You're in a different group right now. And it's an enormous group, because Gen X was wholly hell into Sex in the City. And we needed a voice that was not captured in this show. So I'm going to be your voice, because there's going to be a part 2 to the dating video that I created. Dating over 50, above and below. Because I've got more people to share their stories and to reanalyze with you and connect this to everything that else is going on. Because if I can't get it from television, I will do it myself. Gosh darn it. And I hope that you guys stay with me, and I hope that you enjoy it and you share your stories. And if you don't want to, it's okay. But as long as you watch and you appreciate what I'm trying to bring to you, I hope that you enjoyed this, because we have the next 2 episodes coming up. Again, these take a long time for me. Please forgive me. I want you to understand that these videos to you may be just an hour, but it takes me 2 days, not even the whole day. It does, because there's a lot of editing to do and a lot of clips, and I don't really script this, but I do rewatch it, and I think in my head, like I'm in the shower, I'm cooking, I'm thinking, what am I going to say? How am I going to feel? And then sometimes, even though that doesn't work, after I rewatch it, whatever I come out with at that moment is what you see, because I don't go back and re-record. So if I miss something, I'm sorry, but this comes from my heart. I just want you to know that. It's not a professional. I'm a one woman team. I don't have an editor. I don't have a scripter. I don't have another. It's all me. It's all me. It's all me, baby. It's all me. But I love bringing it to you. And I think that I have found a new way to express myself on this based on everything that I'm seeing in our current situation now. So let's get through this episode. I want to get to number 10 by the end of the week. Knock on wood. Wish me luck. Something. Send me love. Okay. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you consider subscribing. And for the ones who've always subscribed, thank you. And hey, by the way, my name is Lena, if I haven't said that already. And I want to wish you all a beautiful day, night, week, weekend, month, year. Because from here to around the world that I reach, I cannot thank you enough for liking, sharing, subscribing, hyping, and commenting, and sending all my videos out to the YouTube algorithms world that expects everyone else to do their job for the people that you love to bring you this. So I want to thank everyone and have a beautiful day. Bye.